How Apple rose to $2 trillion. Hey guys, today we are going to look at how a computer-selling company grew to become one of the most valuable companies in the world and leader in the smartphone category. The rise of Apple began with Stephen G. Wozniak desire to build his own computer in the 1970s. His desire was further fueled with the launch of the Altair 8800 microcomputer. At this time, Wozniak was working for Hewlett-Packard Company as an engineer, but they did share his enthusiasm. He later met with his high school classmate Steve Jobs, and they shifted production to Silicon Valley Garage. It is here that the legend that is Apple was born. To get started, they needed some working capital, so Steve Jobs sold his Volkswagen minibus and Wozniak his programmable calculator. In 1977, they had produced a standalone computer that had a plastic casing instead of the standard metallic design. It also featured a color display. Apple Computer Inc. was incorporated on January 3, 1977. For the company to succeed, Jobs needed business expertise and capital. Regis McKenna, a public relations specialist, provided management expertise, and Michael Markkula, a multimillionaire, funded the company to a tune of $250,000. For the first 5 years of operations, the company was growing rapidly, with revenues doubling every quarter. By 1980, sales were around $118 million. This resulted to a compounded rate of 533%. In December 12, 1980, Apple went public, selling 4.6 million shares at $22. This generated $100 million and was one of the biggest IPOs since Ford Motors went public in 1956. In fact, Apple did so well that its valuation of $2 billion made it larger than Ford. While Apple was doing remarkably well with the IPO, it faced some serious competition from IBM. For one, IBM used only proprietary hardware and software components. For software, it used Microsoft DOS and Intel processors. This enabled IBM to offer software developers compliant PCs for their software, further making their PCs more appealing. One key software addition that IBM had over Apple was the Lotus 1-2-3 spreadsheet. The Macintosh success. The Macintosh was a sophisticated computer with a functional graphical user interface, mouse and on-screen windows with pictures and icons. When it debuted, Apple ran an ad through Ridley Scott that aired during the Super Bowl XVII third quarter. The advert was hailed as a masterpiece, and the computer was an instant success. However, sales were not that rosy after launch, with consumers finding the product too expensive. Things took a turn to the worse when Steve Jobs was ousted from the company by CEO John Scully. Wozniak had left earlier on in Apple to pursue teaching. Jobs later left Apple and launched his own company, Next Inc. The company later produced LaserWriter, PageMaker, and PostScript laser printer. The company continued reinventing some products without Jobs, like the introduction of the software database HyperCard. This came free with any Macintosh after 1987. The company was able to sell over 1 million computers during this period, and this pushed their revenues to close to $10 billion. However, its share of the market wasn't that great. Microsoft Windows was also gaining ground across the world, making it a serious competitor for Apple. Out Scully and Jobs. CEO Scully launched the Newton Personal Digital Assistant, PDA, promising more than the product could deliver. However, reception was not that good as the PDA suffered from poor handwriting recognition. In 1993, Scully was soon replaced by Michael Spindler, but the company still continued struggling with accumulating large unsaleable inventories and marketing projections. His reign came to an end in 1996. Its financial position was precarious at this point due to the preference for Windows as opposed to Macintosh. In 1996, Apple was looking for OS to replace theirs, and they found the solution in Jobs' Next software. Jobs joined Apple again as an advisor to the CEO under Emilio. However, when Emilio was unable to turn the fortunes of Apple, the board turned to their undisputed leader, Steve Jobs, to become temporary CEO. Apple continues to have significant control of the mobile market, having over 47%. This is almost twice what its close competitor Samsung had at 25%. Their concentration on innovation has paid off big time, hence the high sales. Return to profitability. It is without question that Jobs was the right man for the job. He had passion, drive, and was quite innovative. He started revitalizing the company back to profitability with his wide range of innovative products. Firstly, he announced an alliance with key competitor Microsoft, revitalizing how Mac OS was licensed and oversaw the introduction of iMac. The iMac proved to be a big success and lifted Apple US market share from its lowest at 2.6% to a high of 13.5% by August 1998. This also marked Apple's first profitable year since 1995. Jobs was more focused into a diverse range of products, and in 2001, Apple launched the iTunes. Later in the same year, we had the iPod. By 2003, Apple was selling downloadable MP3 copies of major record songs, further boosting its profitability. By 2006, over 1 billion songs had been sold through its site. From the table, you will notice that Apple's rapid shift to a $2 trillion company began with the introduction of their iPhone brand of phones. Computer sales were good, but not as good as the iPhone era. The largest leap in growth occurred from 2010 to 2015. The company further moved into the cellular market in 2007 when it launched the iPhone. The iPhone had capabilities of playing MP3s and videos. The iPhone 3G was launched in 2008 and gained popularity across the world, selling 1 million units within the first 3 days of release. The company's share of the smartphone market was now at 20%. In 2010, the iPad was unveiled, which was a hybrid between a smartphone and a laptop. Apple further invested in computing by launching iCloud, a form of cloud computing. Jobs was diagnosed with cancer and, due to his deteriorating health, stepped down for Tim Cook as CEO in 2011. He later died of cancer in October. Cooks continued with Jobs' passion for innovation, introducing the iPhone 4S, Siri, Apple's personal assistant, as well as the iPad mini. In 2014, he led Apple to make their first large acquisition by buying out Dr. Dre's Beats. They later introduced the Apple smartwatch and AirPods in 2016. The company finally became the first company to have a market capitalization of $2 trillion. The company has grown exponentially in the smartphone market, to now control over 47% of the global market. However, its competitors have been narrowing the gap, with Samsung coming behind at 25% and Huawei with 16%. However, the iPhone's higher replacement cycles means that customers do not want to hold on to their phones for very long. This in future will affect their bottom line. Apple market capitalization started to shift from 2010 and got growing, with the largest growth being in 2018, where it almost doubled. The high capitalization can be attributed to its rapid technological innovations in the mobile segment. Do you own an iPhone? How do you find it compares to the brands like Samsung and Huawei? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching the video.